Hello and welcome to this video discussing the combat rules. You'll find the description of the combat rules here on the right in the last column of the first page of the rules. We'll go to the map and discuss them in detail. So, in this case we have a Russian infantry company in position. Russian infantry companies are either in BTRs or BMPs. In this case it's a BMP. It has a +1 modifier for armament, it's got a 1 kilometer range, and it's got a +1 modifier for defense because he is an armored vehicle. Also we have your NATO armored infantry company right here. They also have a +1 modifier because of the armament. They have a 1 kilometer range and a +1 modifier for armor. So in this case the blue company moves into contact with the red company, like this, and therefore they are engaged in a fight. Blue company has now used 1 action point. It's blue company's turn, so red company is defending, he's just reacting. In this case, blue company has 3 platoons, so does red company. Each rolls 3 dice, each has a +1. The blue force has a +1 modifier on his die rolls because he's got cannon, and the red forces has a +1 modifier on his die rolls because he's armored. So let's see. Blue rolls a 4, 3 and a 2. We add 1 to each, so that's 5, 4 and 3. Red rolls 1, 1 and 1. That is 2, 2 and 2. In this case, blue kills 2 platoons right off in the fight. So, had he only killed 1 platoon, then you would have turned the marker around, and you will have had a marker with the gray stripe going through, which indicates there are 2 platoons left. So in this case, he kills 2 platoons. So the red player has to roll 1 die to check to see if the remaining platoon remains on the battlefield or whether he flees because his morale drops so much. And he has to roll a 5 or above. In this case, he rolls a 1 and the remaining platoon will flee. If he rolled a 5 or a 6, you will put a 1 left marker on top of it. In this case, it's underneath because it's a computer, but it's right there, indicating that there's only 1 platoon left. Okay, let's go into a little more detail with some other stuff. So, a new situation, we have your Russian company are in position. In this case, he is in a fortified position. He's dug in, he's prepared, he's waiting for the NATO forces to come, and the NATO forces are attacking in tanks. So in this case, the tanks move into range of the BMP company, and the tanks has got a +2 modifier because of the 120mm gun on the Leopard 2A7 tanks. And the Russians still has your +1 armament modifier because of the armored vehicle, but he also have a +1 armament or protection because of he's in a dug-in position, which means that he also have a +2 modifier. The difference is in this fight that the tanks can hit the company, but the company cannot hit the tanks because of the range. The Leopard 2 tanks can shoot for 2 kilometers, whereas the BMPs can only shoot for 1. And therefore, in this case, the tanks roll 3 dice. They add 2 to each. In this case, it's 6, 6, and 4. The Russians also roll 3 dice. They roll a 1, 1, and a 5. So then they add 2 to each. So that's 7, 3, and 3. So he did roll a higher die. He rolled a 5 where he just rolled a 4. And normally that would mean that he would have taken a casualty. But he did not because he cannot shoot. So the only one being able to take casualties are the Russians. And in this case, he lost 2 platoons to the tank fire, which means that he again have to roll 1 platoon and roll a 5 and above to see whether the platoon remains on the battlefield, and he does not. He rolls a 4 and now he flees. Should we come in an example here where we have your two companies fighting each other, we both know they have a +1 modifier because of their armor and armament, but the Russians roll the higher die than the blue forces takes the casualties. So in this example, blue rolls 6, 1, and 1, and red rolls 4, 3, and 2. This means that red suffers 1 platoon casualty. He's got 1 platoon left. But 2 suffers 2 platoons casualties, which means that he will also turn his marker around and he'll have to roll a die to see whether the remaining platoon stays in the fight. In this case, he rolls a 6, and he does, and we can continue the fight. He will, of course, have a 1 left on the marker, indicating that there are 2 Russian platoons and 1 NATO platoon, indicating that he might want to disengage and use his last action to get out of contact with the enemy.